The story began on a mysterious island located in the middle of the ocean, where we saw a massive stadium completely packed with people. Everyone present there had their eyes fixed on the staff standing in front of them. Then, on the signal of the staff, a huge 3-meter-long shark was slowly pulled upward as bait. At that moment, the boy sitting there realized that something massive was about to happen. He immediately asked his older brother to look, and the moment his brother raised his head, a gigantic creature suddenly burst out of the water. At the exact same moment, the viewing platform slowly began descending underground. In reality, an even more dangerous show was waiting for them below. As soon as the platform reached the bottom, the same gigantic creature became clearly visible right in front of everyone, increasing the excitement of the crowd even more. Then, amidst loud applause, the giant creature called Mosasaurus swallowed the entire shark in a single bite. In the futuristic world, a tech company had brought dinosaurs back to life using gene technology, and to make money, they purchased an entire island. All the dinosaurs were kept on that island, which was then transformed into Jurassic World Park. Because of the dinosaurs, the island quickly became the biggest tourist attraction in the world. Every year, millions of people started coming there for vacations. But after 20 years of everything running safely, dinosaurs became as normal to people as elephants in a zoo. Dr. Wu's team combined the genes of different animals and created a new monster dinosaur. Its terrifying and straightforward name was Indominus Rex. It was created to increase people's interest, but nobody had any idea that this very dinosaur would become the biggest disaster for the entire park. At the same time, the owner of the park arrived to see Indominus Rex. There, he discovered that the dinosaur was much larger and far more intelligent than expected. It had already tried multiple times to break the glass and escape. Seeing its dangerous intelligence, the owner became nervous and called retired Navy trainer Owen for a security check. Owen had previously worked in the Navy, and after retirement, he had been given the responsibility of training dinosaurs in the park. At that moment, he was working in the raptor area, where he was trying to control the raptors using the experience he had learned during Navy training. But suddenly, an accident happened. A new feeder was trying to catch a small pig when one of the raptors suddenly grabbed him and dragged him directly inside the enclosure. In the next moment, all the raptors focused their attention on the worker, and the situation became so dangerous that he could become their prey at any second. In that moment of danger, standing directly in front of the worker while continuously commanding the raptors to back away. After a lot of effort, Owen's co-workers managed to pull the employee outside safely. But at the same moment, the raptors lowered themselves into hunting positions, making Owen realize that his own life was now in danger. So, while continuing to command them, he slowly began stepping backward. He suddenly rolled out at the perfect moment and escaped safely. After this, Claire took Owen to see Indominus Rex and explained that it was a secret hybrid created from T-Rex genes and had been raised alone since childhood. Hearing this, Owen warned her that loneliness could make the dinosaur extremely dangerous, so he immediately asked to see it. But surprisingly, even after food was placed inside, Indominus did not appear anywhere. Everyone became uneasy. The strangest part was that the monitoring system could not detect any heat signal at all. Then Owen noticed huge claw marks on the wall and guessed that perhaps Indominus had escaped over the wall. Hearing this, Claire's face turned pale. She immediately decided to return to the control center, and on the way instructed the team to urgently track the location chip implanted inside Indominus's body. Meanwhile, Owen and the guards inside the park went near the wall to investigate how Indominus had escaped. But then a horrifying update came from the control center. The location chip still showed that Indominus was inside the enclosure. Hearing this shocked everyone because the three men were still standing there examining the claw marks. The control room staff immediately called the guards and told them to get out of there quickly. As soon as Owen heard this, he instantly turned around and sprinted toward the inner gate. But at that exact moment, the last guard saw that Indominus was moving directly toward the same direction Owen was running. The second guard reached the gate near the wall and opened it immediately. When he realized that his partner had already been killed by Indominus, fear completely took over him, and without thinking, he ran outside the gate. Meanwhile, Owen kept running with all his strength and finally managed to escape just before the gate closed completely. But Indominus took advantage of the tiny gap left in the gate and smashed through it with a powerful impact, escaping outside as well. In that terrifying moment, Owen quickly slid across the ground and hid himself beneath a vehicle. Without wasting time, he carefully watched every movement of the dinosaur. From the sound of its heavy footsteps, he realized that Indominus was now approaching the guard. The guard, hiding behind the car, was so terrified that he could barely breathe. Then Indominus appeared in front of him like a monster and swallowed him alive in a single bite. To save himself, Owen quickly cut open the fuel tank of the car and allowed gasoline to leak out so the smell would confuse Indominus and prevent it from detecting him. And indeed, after a short while, Indominus failed to sense his presence, and after letting out a terrifying roar, everyone sitting in the control room panicked. At the same time, they learned that Indominus was heading toward the visitor area nearly 5,000 meters away, where around 20,000 people were present. Hearing this, Claire prepared to activate the alarms in that area. But the park owner immediately stopped her because issuing a warning would require shutting down the entire park and raise serious questions about security, potentially leading to the park's closure. Therefore, the owner believed the security team would handle the dinosaur. At the same time, a team of soldiers arrived at the location where the tracking chip showed Indominus to be. But even after reaching there, they could not see it anywhere. Suddenly, drops of blood mysteriously began falling onto his hand. Everyone looked upward in fear, and what they saw shocked them completely. Using chameleon DNA, Indominus had camouflaged itself perfectly into the surrounding environment. The moment the team leader tried to run, Indominus grabbed him. The other guards immediately fired their stun guns at it, but the next second Indominus crushed the team leader to death under its massive foot. The remaining guards tried to stop it with continuous electric shots, but Indominus brutally slaughtered them one by one, killing several people in less than a minute. As soon as Owen heard this, he angrily warned Claire that Indominus was a monster that did not even know what it truly was. And if it escaped into the open world, it would begin killing every living thing because killing was the only way it could survive. Therefore, real weapons would have to be used to stop it. But Claire did not want the park she had worked so hard to build to become a battlefield. Because of this, she rejected Owen's advice. Furious, Owen stormed out of the control room. However, for the safety of the more than 20,000 people inside the park, Claire finally activated the alarms across the entire park. At that same moment, the two brothers were heading toward one of the park's attractions. As soon as their tour car started moving, the staff received the danger warning and immediately stopped all the other tour cars. But strangely, the brothers' car did not stop and continued moving deeper into the park. This area was filled with different herbivorous dinosaurs roaming freely, such as the three-horned Triceratops, the plate-backed Stegosaurus, and the long-necked Brachiosaurus. All of them were peaceful creatures. But suddenly, a warning message played inside the tour car, announcing that the system had malfunctioned and the car would automatically return to the hotel. However, the older brother did not want to return. Moreover, both brothers were Claire's nephews and possessed special access wristbands. Using this access, he directly overrode the system and drove deeper into the park with his younger brother. Meanwhile, Claire suddenly remembered her nephews and immediately called the older one. But at that moment, the network connection disappeared. Nervously, she asked the staff whether all the tour cars had returned. After checking, they discovered that only one tour car had still not returned, the one carrying her nephews. Hearing this terrified Claire, and she immediately ordered the rescue team to go after them. But the rescue team was already occupied, forcing her to seek Owen's help instead. Meanwhile, the two brothers had already reached the farthest part of the tour area when they noticed that the fence ahead had been broken by something powerful. Seeing a path forward, the older brother drove the car inside. Soon they reached a dense jungle area where several ankylosauruses were wandering around. At first glance, they counted 4 of them, but the younger brother insisted there were 5, so the older brother carefully counted again. Then they realized that the reflection in the car window was not a 5th ankylosaurus. It was Indominus Rex standing silently behind them. With a terrifying roar, it kicked the car. Indominus believed the ankylosaurus was stealing its prey, so it immediately attacked it, beginning an intense battle. When it tried biting the ankylosaurus, its tough armor caused Indominus's teeth to shake painfully. Furious, it slashed deep wounds into the creature's back with its sharp claws and finally flipped it over and killed it in one brutal move. Watching all this made the brothers tremble with fear. At that exact moment, it grabbed the car with its claws and opened its giant mouth to swallow it whole. But when that failed, it cleverly grabbed the car with its teeth and repeatedly slammed it against the ground. Just as the glass was about to shatter, the older brother quickly unbuckled his seatbelt, grabbed his younger brother, and escaped from the car. But their movement did not escape Indominus's sharp eyes. Luckily, a small waterfall was nearby, but as Indominus approached, it opened its massive jaws. At the perfect moment, both brothers jumped into the waterfall and escaped its grasp. Around the same time, Claire also arrived in the jungle. But within moments she realized the entire situation had changed completely. Dinosaur corpses killed by Indominus were scattered everywhere. Seeing this convinced Owen even more that Indominus would leave nothing alive. Soon, they found the broken tour car the boys had been in. When Claire saw the destroyed vehicle and the phone lying on the ground, she believed her nephews had been eaten by Indominus. The thought completely shattered her. But then Owen noticed footprints leading toward the waterfall. After examining them, he concluded that the boys were still alive and had likely escaped from there. Hearing this gave Claire some relief. At the same time, the control room staff discovered another terrifying problem. Forced by the situation, the park owner finally decided that heavy weapons would have to be used. But because of the shortage of staff, the owner himself climbed into a helicopter and went out to hunt Indominus with heavy weapons. As soon as the team located Indominus, they immediately opened fire on it. Under the intense gunfire, Indominus Rex charged directly into the area filled with flying dinosaurs, where dozens of massive flying creatures began panicking and scattering everywhere. Chaos instantly spread across the entire island. Suddenly, one of the flying dinosaurs snatched a soldier out of the air, while another crashed violently into the helicopter glass. The helicopter slowly lost control and crashed down, killing the rich park owner. Then all the flying dinosaurs rushed toward the people. The two brothers were trying to escape the jungle using an abandoned vehicle. But the younger brother noticed that the flying dinosaurs were following them. Realizing the danger, he told his older brother to drive faster. Eventually, they reached the park's main entrance gate, where the staff spotted them. After receiving a message from her nephews, Claire and Owen also emerged from the jungle and found a vehicle. They decided to meet at the resort. At the same time, all the rides in the park were immediately shut down, forcing every visitor to remain inside the resort area. Suddenly, an emergency notice was announced over the public broadcast system. At first, people could not understand what was happening. But the moment they looked up and saw the flying dinosaurs in the sky, they realized the truth. Terrified, everyone started running in panic. But the flying dinosaurs were extremely fast and quickly reached the crowd, launching attacks everywhere. Screams echoed throughout the park. Meanwhile, both brothers reached the resort and ran into Claire's assistant. But unfortunately, just as she was about to take them somewhere safe, one of the flying dinosaurs grabbed her and dropped her into the lake. The dinosaur had no idea that this was Mosasaurus territory. Unknowingly, several flying dinosaurs entered the water while continuing to attack the woman. Luckily, the security team arrived at that moment and used tranquilizer guns to force the flying dinosaurs to retreat temporarily, giving the resort area some relief. But the situation was about to become even worse. As soon as the military officer arrived, he took complete control of the operation and finally began carrying out his true plan. In reality, he wanted to hunt Indominus using the raptors in order to prove that they could become military weapons. When Owen learned about this, he immediately arrived there and punched the officer hard in anger because he had raised those raptors since childhood and did not want them sent into a deadly mission. But now the lives of over 20,000 people inside the park were at stake. After thinking carefully, Owen was finally forced to agree to the mission. They decided to play a deadly game of hide-and-seek with Indominus Rex. The plan was simple. The raptors would use their powerful sense of smell to track Indominus, while the army would follow behind and attack with heavy weapons at the right moment. Claire, afraid that the two brothers might run away again, placed them inside a secure control vehicle and personally sat there monitoring the entire operation. Once all preparations were complete, Owen brought out a piece of Indominus Rex meat. He allowed the raptors to smell it. The entire group moved quickly deeper into the forest behind the raptors until they suddenly stopped at a deserted location. The soldiers immediately became alert and aimed their weapons forward. But none of them had any idea that something extremely strange was about to happen. In that tense silence, a gigantic creature slowly emerged from the jungle, and within moments Indominus Rex stood right before everyone. Owen's plan was that the trained raptors would attack the dinosaur. But surprisingly, both sides suddenly began staring at each other, as if some strange conversation was happening between them. Instead of attacking, the raptors revealed the human's presence to Indominus. Watching this, Owen sensed that something was terribly wrong. He suddenly realized that Indominus likely contained raptor DNA as well. That was why it could somehow communicate with the raptors. The officer watching from the control room panicked and immediately ordered all soldiers to open fire. From that very moment, everything completely fell apart. The same plan that was supposed to destroy Indominus had now turned the raptors against humans. When the soldiers saw the dinosaurs running deeper into the jungle, they chased after them. Realizing the situation was collapsing, Claire immediately started the vehicle and drove away at full speed. But then another raptor suddenly charged toward them from the opposite side. The vehicle door was still open, and the raptor could reach them at any moment. Panicking, they grabbed nearby containers and started throwing them outside to block the raptor's path. But the raptors easily dodged them and continued chasing the vehicle. Claire saw in the mirror that the raptor was getting dangerously close, so she suddenly turned the steering wheel and slammed the car directly into it, knocking it away. But at that same moment, another raptor reached dangerously. Just then, Owen arrived and rescued them, and together they rushed toward the control room. Meanwhile, when the officer in the control room realized the operation had completely failed, instead of becoming angry, he strangely seemed even more pleased and headed toward the laboratory. But when Owen and the others also reached the lab, they were shocked to discover that all the employees had already escaped by helicopter. Then, inside Dr. Wu's private office, they uncovered the horrifying truth about Indominus's DNA. In reality, the monster contained the genes of dozens of different creatures. But before he could finish speaking, the raptor pack suddenly arrived there. In the next moment, one raptor slowly approached the officer. Terrified, he attempted to control it using the same method Owen used while training them. But the raptor instantly attacked him. Seeing this, Owen, Claire, and the boys immediately escaped from the lab. Suddenly, the remaining 3 raptors surrounded them from every direction. One of them had blue stripes on its body and was named Blue, the leader of the pack. Owen looked into Blue's eyes and realized she was not his enemy, so he immediately removed the control device from her head. Just then, heavy footsteps echoed nearby as Indominus Rex slowly approached them. But what happened next shocked everyone. Indominus tried ordering the raptors to attack the humans. But Blue suddenly turned toward Owen, as if she remembered something, and instead of attacking, she signaled him to run. Then she turned back toward Indominus and let out a furious roar. Soon as her 2 sisters saw their leader fighting, they immediately turned against Indominus and launched a brutal attack. Unfortunately, their attacks proved weak against Indominus Rex's massive body and monstrous strength, and both raptors were quickly killed in battle. At that terrifying moment, Claire suddenly came up with an idea. She immediately contacted her teammate in the control room and ordered him to open enclosure number 9, because at that moment, the only thing capable of defeating this powerful dinosaur was an even stronger dinosaur. As soon as the enclosure opened, the original terrifying T-Rex emerged, the same dinosaur created 20 years earlier. Cleverly, Claire lured the T-Rex directly toward Indominus Rex, and from that moment the final battle between the 2 monsters began. The moment the T-Rex faced the strange hybrid head-on, it reminded Indominus Rex who the true king of this place really was. But during the intense fight, the old T-Rex slowly began growing weaker because of the power difference and Indominus's deadly claws. At that exact dangerous moment, Blue suddenly returned and jumped back into the fight without hesitation. Her speed distracted Indominus Rex for just a moment, giving the T-Rex the perfect chance to attack. Recovering its strength, finally, with Blue's help, the T-Rex got the perfect opportunity and hurled Indominus Rex violently toward the edge of the water. But the impact of the collision immediately attracted the attention of the true predator of the sea. Suddenly, the gigantic Mosasaurus exploded out of the water, grabbed Indominus Rex's neck in its jaws at lightning speed, and dragged it deep into the ocean forever. And just like that, Indominus Rex was gone forever.